Hi, I'm Glenn Chang, instructor here at LetsRoll Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and I wanted to show you a modified Americana grip that I think will increase your success rate tenfold. You know, our traditional Americana grip is the two wrists, right here. Right? And some people consider this a kind of a power move. It takes a lot of strength. And one of the reasons why is because if your opponent can really straighten out his arm, he starts to get out of that. So he's going to straighten his arm, my hand's not that strong, and I start to lose that grip. So I kind of thought of a new way to do this that makes that increases the angles and increases your power while decreasing your opponent's power. And what I want to do is I'm not going to use my hands anymore to control his wrist and my wrist. I'm actually going to use my wrist, actually my fists. I'm going to curl up and curl up just like this. So my wrists are on top of my opponent's wrists. Okay, so it's kind of like this. It's not my fist on top of my opponent's wrist. It's my wrist right here. Same with the other one that's going to be on top. And if you notice, as soon as I do this, the angle of my opponent's arm changes and his elbow rises up even further. Right? Now if he tries to straighten out his arm, it's much less strength for me to keep that in place. Okay, you'll find that you'll use less power to hold his arm in place. Also, with the regular grip, right, we know we have the paintbrush down, my elbow's gotta start coming down to his hip. Look how far I go. I finally touched his hip, and now I'm raising his wrist and get the tap out. Now notice when I go back to my two-fisted grip here, now I'm gonna start to do that paintbrush, and he's already tapping out. I barely made it to his hip, and I didn't even lift up his elbow. Again, I'm here, I start to paintbrush, he's already tapping out. Okay, what has happened here is that I have changed the angle of his arm. Normally his arm is at about a 90-degree angle. When I go to my two-fisted grip, the arm is at a more acute angle. It makes it harder for him to straighten his arm out. Again, take note that this is the grip right here. Okay, some people like to call it for a joke, you can call it Gangnam Style. If you want to teach it to the kids, they love calling it the Gangnam Style Americana. Really, it's a two-fisted Americana. Okay, again, I'm here. Instead of using a traditional grip, I'm gonna roll it in and roll my fist over it so that it's my wrist. Key point, my wrists are on top of his wrist. Okay, it's a wrist. If I'm here, if my fist is on top of his wrist, he straightens his arm out and it's gonna pop free. Okay, so I gotta make sure that it's this part that's over, captured it here. Paintbrush down, got the tap out. Didn't even raise his elbow at this point when you're practicing that. Traditional grip, look, I've already got down to his hip, I'm already raising, now I got the tap out. Okay, so you're gonna find this to be a much superior way to get this submission here. Okay, so it's kind of a modified Americana. Look how both my fists are vertical. They're not flat, they're vertical. That's a key point. Look how much more his elbow is up, and look how much more his arm is bent. His arm is very weak at this point. Tap out, right there, okay? Now, it's gonna take a little while for you to get used to capturing it this way, and one of the drills that I like to do to teach you how to capture it is when your opponent has made a mistake and he's got his arm over your head this way. I'm gonna trap his arm, right? We know a basic one here. I'm just gonna put my hand by the side of my head, and as he starts to reach around, I'm already capturing that with my wrist. I'm already in that fist position. This one's coming over, and now I've got that right there. And I hope you want to try that out. Like I said, it takes a little while to get used to trying to capture the arm that way, but once you get used to it, I think you'll find that this is a great way to finish the Americana. Thank you very much.